So the founder of Rolling Stone magazine, he was on Rogan. Rogan asked him about, he once said that the government, the Rolling Stones guy said that the government should regulate the internet. Here's how this went.
To regulate the internet?
Absolutely.
You trust the people that got us into the Iraq war under false pretenses to regulate the internet? Do you think that makes any sense?
Well, wait a minute. I would not. The people who got us into the Iraq war
It's the government.
was the politicians.
Which is
the government.
the government. What's another way to describe government?
It's the government.
In the end, yes, it's the government.
In the end, yes, the point.
But who else is going to regulate?
But if they're
Nobody, because the internet doesn't need to be regulated.
No, we need the government regulating less things.
This isn't. We're not. This isn't like the oil industry that needs some sort of regulations so they don't dump crude oil into a small town. I understand some of that shit. These are words. If you don't listen to them, nothing happens.
To be fair, Royce, hear me out on this, right? The government regulates our educational system, right?
Poorly.
And we have the smartest kids in the world.
Dumbest.
The government regulates the environment, right? Mm-hmm. Cleanest environment in the world.
Baltimore.
We regulate drugs, and we beat the shit out of that. We won the drug war. Remember that?
No, we lost. There's a bunch of people in the Midwest dying of drugs that the government helped create.
Well, yeah, but eventually they'll all OD on fentanyl, and then the fentanyl ODs will stop, and we'll have won. Duh.
Fair enough.
They're going to be in power, and they're regulating the internet. They're going to regulate the internet in a way that suits their best interests. The same way they do with the banking industry, the same way they do with the environment, the same way they do with energy.
Maybe Joe had Kanye on and didn't tell us.
The same way they do with everything. What represents their interests? There's so much. You're talking about so much money involved in disseminating information in a very particular way.
The world right now are the internet companies are rich beyond belief.
Yeah.
Just real quick. Yes, they are, but you know what's more? Pharma, which is regulated by the government.
Mm-hmm. But it's a disruptive thing that has never existed before. I think it exists, and I think where we're at is where we're at. I think we need to move forward collectively as a country with an ethic that respects truth and that appreciates opinions and reality. And an understanding of things that's not necessarily possible with corporate interest involved in dissemination of information.
But there's no way to do that except through the government.
This guy's a moron.
Everything you described, you could do without the government being involved.
No, we need the government, Royce. The government helps.
There's no way that you can do that except through the government.
Why is that?
Human nature is not going to change.
But the people that run the government are also susceptible to human nature because they're humans, correct? Or are you saying
lizards.
Alex Jones is right and they're lizard people?
You're admitting that they're lizards.
He admitted.
He admitted. You have to marry your mother-in-law. Also, interdimensional pedophiles.
Yes, you're right. I apologize.
The government's not going to change either.
But the government is capable of change.
Yeah, changing into a worse version of the government.
Yeah, it never changes in a good way.
I'm sorry, did this guy just watch Rocky IV?
If I could change, I could change.
If the Pfizer could change, the government could change.
Okay, look, the government regulates, for example, the food supply.
Yes.
Yeah, and our food is literally poison.
And we have the fattest kids in the world.
Yeah, we're literally eating poison.
Or it can regulate, let's take the
food supply.
Yeah, the Department of Agriculture.
Why have they let
Health
glyphosate
Safety.
infestate all of our foods?
Baseball with Joe.
All right, Joe. All right. You never know with Joe Rogan what you're going to get. Sometimes you'll just fucking be based as fuck with shit, and sometimes he'll be like, I don't care.
It depends on his mood.
That's true. When he's cranky. Oh, you know what it is, Mersh? Sober October.
Oh, yeah.
We've noticed this. We've noticed this because we've covered
he
Rogan.
gets a little pissed
every October. Every time he is just pissed, and not because I don't think he's a big booze. He drinks a bit, but he's not a big booze hound or anything. Weed, that's his thing. Like that's his thing. And look, I know what it's like. And Mersh both know what it's like to try to do a show without smoking weed. It's not fun. Okay, it sucks.
I'm smoking weed right now.
One thing.
Yeah, but that's a problem. That's the
I
government
agree.
regulating.
Well, then we better get better politicians in them.
Oh!
Better people.
Oh, okay.
I mean, It's not.
Guys, better politics. What were we thinking? This guy.
This guy. It sounds like Joe Rogan is interviewing a guy at a bus station, right?
And honestly, you would think,
Doesn't it? Like it's
Yeah.
just from the way he talks, from his
Yeah.
appearance, just mush mouthed and his dumb opinions. Well, we needed the government to fix the internet.
No, again, don't let the perfect be the enemy of the good.
Right.
Okay. So let's take the SEC or take the Food and Drug Administration, which regulates big pharma. On the one hand, we've got a very safe supply of drugs in this country.
what?
25% of all drugs that get passed through the FDA get recalled.
Yeah, and like the majority of our drugs are manufactured in China, so we don't
Wait,
have a safe supply.
where?
China.
We keep each other honest around here.
Yeah, we got to keep each other. Yeah, no, thank you. Thank you for auditing me.
We have to. We have to.
Right, he's giving me a truth audit.
Drugs are
Yeah, it's called audit the sped. Okay, that's what we do here.
Audit the
Oh
sped.
my god, that's so funny.
tested. You don't get too many bad drugs, prescribed drugs.
Yeah, somebody doesn't watch daytime TV.
By the way, you're right. But on top of that, bro, have you been out around for like 3 years? They just admitted they never tested it to see if it stopped transmission. What the fuck?
Admit it.
Fuck, bro.